Okay, I just want to show a quick video where I'm going to add a table to my personal information manager. Uh, so the personal information manager here is this application. It's just the thing where I have like my journal. I can do stuff like what did I eat yesterday, and then I have a list of the things I ate yesterday. Um, uh, the thing is, what I want to do is I want to add something that tracks my exercise. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go back here, and then in PIM here, I'm going to go down into the actual declaration file here. So these are all the tables. So if we look at the actual C-phrase, we have like tasks, we have task types, eatings, foods, journals, etc. Daily. So what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to go back to the tree editor, and I'm going to add a new table. And that table is going to be called so basically training event or extra. Well, let's see, what do I want to call this thing? I want to call this maybe exercise. Okay, and that's fine. And then what I want to do then with exercise, let me just move it up here. You can do this like this. And then what I want to do here is I want to add some attributes. So I'm going to give it a column of an ID. So I'm going to have an ID on each of these. And the type of that is going to be integer. And then I'm going to also add a primary key, which is that ID. Set, close, and then we have a primary key that is ID. Then the attributes. There's the one attribute is going to be the basically it's called the type. And we'll give that a string. Okay, and then we're going to have a column that's going to basically be oh yeah, we're going to have the date. So we'll call this date. And the type, of course, is date. Okay, so type date, and then we're going to have also maybe a description. So column, and let's call that description. And that type is, since it's a long text, it's a memo. Okay, so that we have that, and then let's just make an abstraction here to do numerical values that we might want to associate with this. Like, for instance, the distance, if it was skiing or whatever it might be here. So I'll say this. I'll say something like, okay, I'll call this the value or the measure title. So that would be something like distance. And that's going to be type string. And then I'll add another one, which is actually going to be the numerical measure. So column, I'll call that measure. Set type. Let's make this real so that it can do integers or reals. Okay. Fine. Okay, so we're going to close that. So we have this new table then. So it's exercise. It has an ID. It has a type. It has a date, and a description, and a measure title like distance, and then a measure would be something like the actual numerical value. So in here, let's just add some types just to kind of start out here. So I know that I'll have skiing. That's one of the types. And then I can add much more later. So I have skiing, and I'm going to also add another type, another value here, and it's going to be called, let's say, I do this kettlebell, and I'll basically, the measure will be the number of minutes. Kettlebell, if people. Okay, so that's what it's going to be for now. All right, so I'm going to save this. No, I don't want to. I have a running one, but I'm not going to do anything with that. Okay, so if I go back here, let me just clear that away. I'll stop this for now. Okay, stop that. All right, so now I need to explain something here, and that has to do with if we look here. So if I go back to this, go to the edit here, then I can go to this PIM, Personal Information Manager. So what we had here is we have a database that already has a lot of information in it. and we just redefined the table, but we haven't. So this, whatever this database is here, it doesn't have that new table in it. So let me show you how you actually go about rebuilding the whole data, rebuilding the database so there's that new table. In CPhrase right now, the way it works, just to keep everything simple, is this has to be done as a full operation. So what I want to do is this CPhrase file here, this is the one that we just added the exercise to. What I want to do now is I want to actually bring into that the full state of this database. All right. So load DB into CPhrase. Okay, that will do it. So what it's done now, and it takes a little while because it has to load in the full database state. So what it's done now, if we go back here now into here, we'll see there's a new element here, database state. Let me just do this here because I don't want you guys to see my journals and stuff. Basically, if we go to the first ones, I think this will be fine. Yeah, here we are. So basically, DB state, and then it'll have like a task. This is one of my tasks here, what I would need to buy and stuff like that. But basically, if you scroll all the way down, the whole state of the database just got sucked into the CPhrase file. Okay, fine. Now if we go back here, then what we do is we go to the actual database itself now, and then this is always kind of scary here, but we're going to delete that file. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go back here and we're going to build the database. So we're going to build database PM. So we're rebuilding the database based on the new updated CPhrase that has the whole database state in it. And I'm just going to go in here to the database state thing, and now I'm going to delete that because I don't like that hanging around in the actual definition. Okay. All right. So now we should be able to add exercises. So let's go and show how we can do that. So I go to NL. So okay, again, we've rebuilt the database, and if I relaunch now, relaunch the database, now we should have the table exercises in there. All right. So there we are. And gotta log in. It's got a password. Okay, now what I do here is I'm going to basically let's look and see what tables we have here. Should be exercise should be in there. Yep. So in addition to all the other ones, there's exercise. So now with exercise, I basically just submit this here, and of course we see there's nothing there. So now I can say add exercise. And then what we have here is we have, okay, so what is the date? We're going to make the date, actually it was yesterday. And the type, it was skiing. And I say, need ski track. And then the measure title is distance. And the value is, it was 5 kilometers. It wasn't that much, but okay. All right, so now if we look at exercise, we see that we've added the skiing in here. All right, so what we've done here now is in addition to having all these other, tables that were already there, now we've enhanced the personal information manager so that it can track that data as well. All right, so those are the steps it takes to extend a configuration. Thank you very much.